main show. Let's get back to the man of the hour. We want to bring it out to the panel right now. And we've got Rod Deal. Rod, tell us how you're doing. How's everything going? And how are you dealing with the life of Corona?
I'm doing great, all things considered. I've been locked up like most everyone else during Corona. I just started working again recently in June, safely, of course, masked up with the gloves. And yeah, my day-to-day mostly has been, I think, what every artist should be doing, which is applying for grants, doing your paperwork, and checking out every resource for artists and for small business owners, and then looking for a way to work safely.
Wow, that's incredible. It sounds like during this time of isolation and medical craziness that you have been very productive as far as like working on your business side. Can you tell our audience how do you even keep your head in the right space so that you can keep your business running while also dealing with this global pandemic?
I mean, I took a period where I was bothered by all the loss of jobs. Like from March 1st, every job I had from now until I would say September was canceled or put on standby, or I guess furlough is the word, right? So
Yep.
then when you deal with that, you take a little time for yourself to deal with it, but at the same time, you have to be creative, you have to be productive. So that's when I started applying for grants. I started working on my own small projects, doing the pre-production stages of my own jobs, my own ideas, and just staying focused. But you got to have time to feel what's going on. You can't just ignore what's happening. You got to give yourself some time to do that, and then you create. I'm used to creating under pressure, so once I got over that and I made my own plans, I moved forward, and yeah, I've been moderately busy for the month of June. Pretty busy, about 4 jobs a week. So
that's fantastic. Do me a favor. You said you've been, basically investing in yourself and your own projects, and investing your time and energy, keeping busy. Are you able to tell us the nature of those projects? Are they film, photography? Are they in studio? Are they on location? Like a little insight into that world.
Right. Well, lately, what I've been working on is a portrait series, which has a lot of. It's just a small portrait series for women of color, involving a lot of flowers, a lot of colors, a lot of bright things that will make you a lot more happier. And then I've also been working on shooting a lot of graduation pictures, because a lot of our, it's 2020, it's a landmark year. A lot of our students are not gonna have a graduation. And hold on, this thing is turned on. And so I've been shooting a lot of graduation pictures for kids that can't graduate with their classmates this year, like a full series on it. So that's what I've been working on a lot these past couple of weeks, along with a commercial for getting people to get motivated back to vote. I have a small commercial I'm working on, which is going to be about ICE, police brutality, and the LGBTQ community, just getting them motivated to vote, because all of these bad things are happening right now from horrible choices to vote. Give me 1 second. Let me figure out how to turn this thing off real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Jennifer, the thing that I'm intrigued about is that
I have a magic TV that turned itself on sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just talking to Jen about what you just said about social justice in the time of now, like right now, and I actually wanted to save the art activism for a little later, but if you wanted to just give us a little insight into that, do you consider yourself an art activist? Is that?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself an art activist, but whenever I'm motivated to do something, I do it. If I see something that I feel is wrong, where that needs to be documented, I will reach out to my people to make sure, one, that I get paid, and two, that it's documented correctly. So I'm always shooting activism. I'm always involved with protests, either in a photography or video production capacity. And I just want things to be documented fairly and accurately so that that can be represented for our people. Now, as far as where the art comes into play, right is right and wrong is wrong. And there's a lot of things that are against artists in South Florida. And I always speak out, and I always attempt to help any artist that I can, once I'm in a position to do so, of course.
Interesting. I mean, this is an ArtServe shirt that I wear from time to time, Fear No Art. And our role as an arts organization is to be an advocate for the arts, artists and arts organizations, and to create opportunities for artists and organizations of the arts. I wonder, when you say that you see something wrong, you feel like you're motivated to act or create, and you get in touch with your people, what comes from getting in touch with your people? Is it about activating
getting it coverage? We have a lot of sit downs where we have talks, and just, I mean, making people aware. I think
Rod, if I may ask, who are the people? Are these people your friends, other artists, they're activists?
Oh yeah, other artists and activists. Most of my friends are artists and activists. We create together. Yes.
That's amazing. It's like a collective.
That's a great network that you have going.
I do have a large network of artists with the Imperial, which has been like a weekly night I did for the past 8 years. And it's a lot of artists that I work with, and we come together, and it's a group of artists, musicians, photographers, poets, dancers, and we come together and create. So I'm always in that type of environment.
I think that's awesome that you have a network, that it's not just you standing on just your views of the world, that you're bringing people together, and as a collective that you're impacting society. I actually want to take a look at your work, and we're doing a lot of talking. I would like to show the world what you actually produce. Would you mind if we take a look at your website real quick?
Please, let's check it out.
Yeah, let me get into the screen share here. And for the people at home who want to check it out, Rod, can you tell them what your website is so that they can find it out there?
You can check out my work at roddeal.com, www.roddeal.com. 2 deals, like let's make a deal. Very easy.
Let's make a deal. I got it on here, and I pinned the comment, so it's going to stay up here.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the screen share, and I'm running into a problem. Hold on. There we go. I think I got it. Can you guys see this?
I can see it, yes.
Okay. All right. So, Rod, it starts with photojournalism. I think we'll just dive in right there. And talk to me about what we're seeing with your photography here.
All right. This image is for Miami New Times. This is for the Chinese New Year in North Beach, Holliver Beach. And these are a bunch of people. These are like 3 dragons dancing, and yeah, it's pretty wild. This is a fire dancer from Honolulu. I think he's one of the. This is shot on film. Shot on what, Fuji Provia.
Is this
probably in 2001, 2002. This is an old image.
Now, is this in South Florida or somewhere?
Say that again? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, is this in South Florida or somewhere?
Yes, this is also in South Florida. This is in Orlando, actually.
Very cool. Very cool.
This is at, I used to do a pool hall. I used to do a pool tournament at one of my favorite pool halls in South Beach. It's called Chalk. It doesn't exist anymore. And this was my partner right here. He was just about to win. Also shot from my.
That's a great picture. Great.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, is this with the lighting of the establishment, or did you bring in special lighting?
This right here is shot with natural light. This image is shot with natural light. So
Wow.
I'm basically just there with the camera, yeah, with a 12 to 24 millimeter wide angle lens, Nikon D700 probably.
Are you a Nikon loyalist or?
Oh yeah, I'm the Nikon Don. I've been shooting with Nikon since when I was 5, my dad took us to Great Britain, and we have all these pictures of Great Britain, and all of it was shot with a Nikon. And he put the camera in the closet and never touched it again. But I always would play with the camera growing up. And then I was like, one day I'm gonna learn how to use it. And by the time I wanted to learn how to use it, it got stolen. So the first camera I got was in the year 2000 was a Minolta Maxim 5. That got stolen. And then I got my first Nikon, and I've been shooting with Nikons ever since.
Wow.
And
I'm gonna come out.
We had a photographer on a while back, and she said she will only use Nikon.
I mean, I've been that way for a while, but now I'm mirrorless, so I can use any lens I want, and I'm no longer strictly Nikon, but always Nikon cameras. Yeah, they're really great. The files have great dynamic range, which means if the picture comes out really dark, you can fix the exposure. If it comes out really bright, you can fix it. The glass is super sharp, and then and I just think it's the best company right now.
That's a great endorsement.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You should get a Nikon.
My dad loves cameras. He's not a pro, but he just buys cameras. He loves taking photos as a hobby, and everything in the house, ever since I was a kid, Nikon. And I never knew why, but it's interesting to hear when professionals say that they only will shoot with Nikon. I'm like, my dad was on
the lenses. The lenses are sharper, have more character, and like I said, the dynamic range is just superior to Canon and Sony in every way. So that's probably why.
We've got Stacy Doherty, a photographer, saying I'm Nikon and I love it on the chat right now.
Stacy must be a good photographer.
She's amazing. Yes.
Amazing is an understatement.
Yes.
And she's got a studio at ArtServe, and she's one of our resident artists, and her work is fantastic. I do want to say, Rod, or to the audience, that is, we see that you guys are pressing the hearts, and we see you pressing the like button. They're just pouring in. Keep that up. And if you have questions for Rod Deal, questions or comments, bring them in, because Jennifer will attack those and bring those questions to Rod. But in the meantime, I want to get back to the work, and let's check out a little bit more from your website. Let's get into the fashion stuff. I think this is also fascinating. Can you tell us what's going on here?
All right, so I worked with a pretty insane art director.
Whoa!
Most of this concept is his. This is a wide angle shot with a 14 millimeter lens. I'm in this incredible, insane garage that my man in Miami has. He has like almost every old school car there is. We cleared the whole thing out. The mirrors are his idea. He bought 1 million lamps, and he gave me the concept. And we have the girl in the middle. Her name is Nandi. She's almost been Miss Haiti a few times.
Whoa.
Girl on the left is another model as well. Very creative shoot. I love this shot a lot, actually. It's one of my favorite shots that we ever did. Yeah.
Wow, this is an incredible photo.
We shot this with a Nikon, not 16 millimeter. I'm sorry, 14 millimeter, that wide angle one.
I want to know what's going on here. If I can, what's going on with that?
Yeah, what is in her mouth?
What's her mouth? What's in her mouth?
Those are all paint brushes, and it's supposed to be how like everything out of her mouth is art, and how this canvas is everywhere to showcase that life's a canvas, and these 3 models are just like in their element. Yeah. What
about what's going on right here?
All right, so this image right here, I have the owner at the bottom outside the frame with a little aerosol spray can spraying fire on that burning. We burned those paint brushes, and just got a nice flame for the exposure. This image was great. I love this shot a lot, actually.
I think that's hot.
And then I love afros, so that flame symbolizes an afro for her.
Oh, nice.
No, but she looks fierce. Like, she's like no nonsense.
Yeah, and she is the sweetest, nicest girl, but she's super strong, as you can see.
So we've got some other fashion shots here. These
are just typical beauty shots. This girl right here in the yellow, she's gonna be mad at me. She has her own business. What does he call it? Boss. But she basically does twerk classes all across the United States of America. She has like almost every single major city. So she's a really big dancer, and she's been a huge dancer in Miami for a very long time. This is shot in Broward. Once again, that might be for Sun Sentinel for a concert series they had in Broward, not too far from Hollywood. You can go to the next one though. What else do we have here? That is, see, I'm horrible with names. That is the guy from not Guns N' Roses, not Rolling Stone.
Are you sure?
That's a man?
That's a man.
No, it's his daughter. It's
Liv Tyler?
Good. Tyler, yes.
Liv Tyler?
Steven Tyler is the singer. That's her.
Oh, yeah, from Aerosmith.
That's Liv Tyler. Yes.
Oh, okay. She looks really.
And she has performed for Bad, Not Good. She has a group called that, and they're amazing. They haven't really done much work, but this is her on stage for that, and that's also in Broward. That's at Stash in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Oh, we know it well.
Yeah, I love that spot too. That is my man from 3 6 Mafia. That's not DJ Paul. That is Juicy J. That's Juicy J. Yeah, and that's Wiz Khalifa. These are old. Before his locks. This image is awesome.
Jennifer, do you know who Wiz Khalifa is?
I do.
Yeah, he's a huge rapper.
I actually only know Wiz Khalifa from the show Broad City, but I'm sure you haven't heard of that.
Now, Rod, did you just shoot him, or were you able to meet and hang out?
We meet and greet. I'm not really a snoozer, so I do my job and leave. But we met beforehand and we met afterwards. It's really cool. He smokes a lot of weed.
Well, not surprising.
I have heard that there are some musicians who indulge in the medicinal herbs, but I wouldn't be able to name names.
Yeah, well, he's known for. He's basically the Snoop Dogg for his generation. So
I see. I'm 45, so I wouldn't know what generation you're referring to.
Well, the born in the year 2000 generation, I guess. The youngins, the young boys.
Gen Z.
So there's professionals watching us. We've got I can see on Facebook that we've got a photographer, cinematographer. We've got Stacey Doherty, professional photographer. I know Fabio's watching. And he does work in film. And the hearts and likes are pouring in from our audience. Jennifer, let's go to the questions. What does cyberspace have to say to Rod Deal right now?
We've got a question from one of our top fans, Fabio. And Fabio says, do you find a difference between a digital sensor as opposed to a 35 millimeter full frame Nikon? I think they make full frame mirrorless.
Who wants to know the difference? Yeah.
Do you find a difference?
Depending on which camera you're talking about, let's say the most current ones, the dynamic range for a digital camera in 2020 from a Nikon is superior for the dynamic range that's in for film. So let's say if you're going to shoot for slide film, which a lot of press did, we did when we were younger, you had to get the exposure 100% correct in camera. So even now when I shoot to get the exposure right in camera. But just in case I want to bring some highlights back in and whatnot, I have that extra. So for me, shooting with a digital camera, a competent one, is like shooting on easy mode for me, because back 20 years ago, it was very, very difficult. There's a lot of chemistry involved. There was a lot of mathematics involved. And right now, as technology has enhanced and programs have been making things easier, everything is much, much more easier. So what I like to do is to shoot and to get the digital file to look like and have the characteristics of film. That's what I like to do. So, because I'm so used to film. To me, a great image looks like what I shot on film, not the very standard or very regular files that you might get. So I hope that answers your question. As far as full frame, yes, there are full frame. There's medium format. There's large frame digital backs. So yes, you're correct about that.
Thank you. And thanks for your question, Fabio. And Stacy, who we mentioned before, she says she loves fire images. This is beautifully done.
Thank you, Stacy.
And is there anything else in cyberspace for Mr. Rod Deal?
And also, I think Rod, you answered this, but Fabio had asked, have you ever shot with film? And I think you've already.
Yeah. We can go in the film series I have if you want. You can go to the natural hair series. You can show that.
Now, is that on the website?
I shot with film for a long time because digital cameras are very expensive. So I shot with film primarily, probably I would say until about 2012, 2010, and I would rent digital cameras if the client asked for it. We can just hop that. If you scroll down, let's go look at a film portfolio. If you go to the natural hair series, go up. Or the Miami Solarized, both of those are shot on film.
All right, right here.
Yeah. So this right here is shot on black and white film. This is solarized. Solarization technique is basically when you so it looks like a negative and it looks like a positive. The way to do this, you develop the picture, and let me make sure it's been a long time. You develop the picture, and then you hit it with light. Natural, because you're in a dark room, it's all red, right? So you hit it with regular light to get it to look how you want it to do. In order to do that, you have to make a grid. You have to figure out which way, how much of a mixture of negative and positive you want. Then you expose and you develop your image with the regular processor, putting it inside developer, cleaning it, then doing that whole chemical process, which is a 4 or 5 step process. So back when I was younger, I was really obsessed with solarizing images. This is shot at Ultra Music Festival.
Awesome.
This is a double exposure. One guy, he's into hip hop, and the other guy's into punk rock. His hair is actually white. This is shot in Homestead. Had my friend sit down. I solarized this in front of a spotlight. Check out the next one. You can scroll to the next one. And this is just a sign this is the type of graffiti that was in Wynwood back in the day in 2003, 2004. More just street work with street gangs and whatnot. This one says always working. And let's look at the next one. You scroll to the next one?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Wynwood. Yeah. And this series is called Miami Solarized, and these are all like the signs in the city in Overtown and in Wynwood. And yeah, I love this a lot. All of this was shot on Tri-X and Ilford 3000 film.
This one's for me.
Live and Love. Yeah, I made this one. I blew this one up about 60 by 40 inches. I sold a bunch of these. This is a great image. Also, with a shot on Tri. Actually, this is the only image here that's shot that's digital. Actually, this is digital. So if you scroll from one to the next, you can see a difference right there between digital and black and white. This is black and white Tri-X film. And the other one right before that is digital. It's much crispier. It doesn't have as much character, even though it's shot with the same.
Back and look at the difference. Yes, you can see it.
Now, if we leave here and we go to the natural hair series, all of that is shot with film. I think he'll like that.
Now, which one would be the natural hair series? Where
go up, or is it down? No, it's down. You have to go down.
This way.
Down more. No, it's up. It's up.
Okay, let's start.
Right there it is, right there. Boom.
There we go.
So here we are. Okay, so right here, this series is shot with a camera. It looks like an accordion. So this is like probably the oldest camera that I shoot with on a regular basis. It's shot by my favorite photographer, Jonathan Mannion. He shot in probably all of your favorite singers' album covers from Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, etc. So I shot this with a Polaroid 195. This is Fuji 3000B black and white peel apart film. It gives you a negative and it gives you a positive.
Can you tell me about the writing? How did you achieve the writing on the image? Did you just print it out and start?
So the reason there's writing on the image is because this is about people expressing themselves. As you know, you're a man of color, that people don't really like to embrace too many natural or African hairstyles at work. So this is for everyone who is wearing a natural hairstyle, and they're basically writing their story or the reason why they chose to write their hair, to wear their hair that way. This is back I shot this in 2012. So this is more when a lot of people didn't have natural hair, more women than men. And they're writing their reasons for why they chose to do so. And for this, I just got, what do you call those a transparency. So I give them a pen, so it's written in their own handwriting.
Yes.
And then I would scan the transparency, and then I would invert it, and then I would put it on in Photoshop. So this is a combination still of digital and film, but the only thing that is manipulated digital-wise on here is their handwriting to put on the image. Everything else is shot in camera. So every single image here, you peel the Polaroid apart, this is how it looks. There's no manipulation whatsoever. And if you scroll to the next one.
Rod, before we go to the next one, I just have to ask this. Was this a series that you created personally?
Yes.
Or was this something that
this series has been let's talk about gallery work. I'm sorry. This series has been shown at the Laundromat Art Space along with other in a group show with Carl Juice. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner. Yes. Miami Herald, who's also my mentor, with Terrence Price, who's also a really big artist in Miami, incredible photographer. He shoots a lot of Miami life, documentary style with film. And this was this was shown in Laundromat Art Space in Little Haiti. Because I had an art show just to showcase the beauty of Little Haiti. I'm missing one artist and photographer. They'll be mad at me, but I'm trying to remember his name. But that's what this series was shown at. It's been there, and it's also been shown where else. I had a huge art show with rest in peace, Big Rod, a producer on South Beach. We had this show shown at Haven on South Beach, and it's a lounge that has every single wall is like a projection wall, like a huge screen, like in 4K. Yeah, and that's where this was originally shown at for the first time, and that was an incredible art show.
I love these images. Are these still available for you to show, or have they been sold?
Of course, yeah. I've sold these, and I showcase this a lot. This Shiomon right here, she's actually on an actress in LA right now. She's in a couple of sci-fi TV shows. She's an incredible actress.
Your work is amazing.
And these are all, and like I told you before, with this type of film, you get a negative and a positive. So this is the negative. I would often scan the negative after I shot it and scan those because the amount of character you get is insane. Now, I told you how you solarize an image earlier. The solarization that's happening in these images is just how it happens because it's just so bright in the room and in the studio. You have to take the film, peel it apart, and then hide the negative ASAP so no light hits it, you know? So all that solarization is happening naturally.
Wow. I want to come out just for a second. First of all, I think your work is fantastic. Especially this particular series that has multi-layers, multi-dimensions of artistry. There's a lot of people, they pick up the phone, they go, hey, I'm a photographer now. Click, click, click. And you know it's true.
I feel like you're talking about me.
You know it's true. I'm not mentioning anybody who.
I mean, I don't knock anyone because people are doing things with cameras, with their phone that I never think of, and you know, photography isn't meant to be. I wish it was simple back when I first started. I wish photography was as simple as it was now. Now that the fact that it is, I don't knock it because they're still expressing themselves. You know.
Right.
I can shoot with the camera from 1700s. And I can shoot with the camera right now. It doesn't matter what type of camera it is. That's the only difference. So I guess everyone is quote unquote a photographer right now, but
sure.
There's levels to it, you know. That's all.
Jennifer, speaking of everybody being a photographer, there's somebody who's very special, an ArtServe photographer who's asking questions about developing. Can we go to Stacy's question about the post process?
Yes, let me find it. Let's scroll up. Stacy asked, what's your post processing like?
Depends on the job.
I was going to say that it probably depends what it is.
If she, okay, I can give her a workflow. Maybe that will help.
I think that would be great.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to know too.
I'll give the most extensive workflow that I can think of. If I'm shooting on location with an assistant and the client is impatient and they want to see the images quickly, I'll take the pictures, I'll stream it to an iPad so they can look at it while we're shooting. As I stream it to the iPad, I put it into Lightroom on the iPad, which puts it into the cloud. Then I do my general edit with whatever presets that I normally, whatever style I'm going for, on Lightroom, either on the iPad or at home. Then I do any type of retouching that's extensive in Photoshop, and then everything else is just plugins and presets and general retouches, depending on whatever they want. But I try to do I try to have a run and gun technique where I have the images available to view ASAP. When I'm giving the images to the client, if it's a portrait series, which we'll say it is, I'll send them a PDF file which has a context sheet for all the images, and then they pick it out, and then we do the full-on edit then, you know? As far as editing to make the image look good, it really does depend on the job, but 9 times out of 10, it's just a different version of what I just told you right there. And I try to have the images in the client's hand as soon as possible, and I always try to get the image as close to what I need in camera. I don't take a picture and then try to crop in later on. No, I try to get everything I can in camera.
Wow. I'd love to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
We've been looking at, a lot of different styles of photography. What I want to get into some of your photojournalistic work, and I want to pair that with the beginning of our conversation. We talked about art activism.
Okay.
And I know that you had told me that you had shot the protests down in Miami.
Yeah.
For the protests for Black Lives Matter. And I wanted to know, since you were basically at the ground level, you were with the people.
Okay.
What was it like from an artistic point of view, as a photojournalistic point of view? What was it like being on the streets? What was the energy like? And as an artist, what did you feel was your responsibility as far as capturing that moment?
Okay. All right. Well, originally I didn't want to shoot the protest because I didn't think it was going to be as serious as it was going to be. I was actually telling people to not protest because the last protest that I went to that was this serious was the FTAA protest, and we all got shot with rubber bullets a half dozen times. So I was really telling people, don't do it. Miami PD are crazy. They're going to shoot you. They're going to gas you. They're going to basically whip your ass. So you probably shouldn't go there unless you're really built to, get your ass whipped by the police. So Saturday, the day before I went down there, people were bombing, and even though it didn't seem like it was the protesters, it seemed like it was someone else that were really looting people from out of town. But they shot a lot of people and basically, arrested a lot of people, a lot of my friends. The next day, Sunday, or no, that was Friday. The next day, I was in Fort Myers, and I was still debating on coming. And then friends of mine told me they were going, and we got in a pretty big argument. They were like, "Why aren't you going?" I was like, "You probably shouldn't go, man, because I don't really think it's that serious." But after Friday, when I saw that they protested in 4 or 5 cities at the same time, I realized that the momentum was there and people were taking it seriously. So I was in Fort Myers, and I got down to Miami at 12 noon, and it was a nice, peaceful protest. Everyone from Miami was very peaceful. It was very organized. People were passing out water, hand sanitizer. They were socially distancing as much as they could. Some people wanted to say hi and hug me and stuff, because at this point I've been quarantined for 2.5, 3 months. I came there to document this, not talk to anyone. So I was kind of rude. So sorry to anyone that was there watching this. If I didn't say hi to you or what's up, that's why I'm still a little afraid due to Corona and whatnot. But at that picture you're looking at right there, the police so far away, the crowd was being chastised by the police, but they kept their distance. We're about 100 yards away from the police. That's where the Port of Miami is. They blocked the whole thing off, and everyone was very respectful. Everyone was very nice, and just like they were for the first night. As soon as nightfall hit, apparently that's when people from out of town try to take advantage of the situation or try to make things happen. On the second day, the police were more like, okay, let's just stop you guys from coming to the police station so we don't get embarrassed and get our police station burnt down. And then we're not going to force any altercations. I got out of there around 10 o'clock, 1 hour after the curfew hit. The police were still like keeping their distance and actually showing a lot of restraint and respect for how everyone was acting. Now, as far as composition and whatnot, I just wanted to make sure I showed how big this crowd was. I wanted to show I wanted to show how multicultural Miami is. So I shot mostly wide angle. I brought every lens I have, and I have about 20. And I only use basically my widest lens, zoom, and then my 24 to 70. I didn't really, and I'm wearing a mask, so I'm moving at half speed. I got that COVID weight, so I can't move as fast as I'm used to. I'm over here. I'm literally dying. I'm like dying. I'm huffing and puffing, and everyone was very respectful. Everything was very nice, but they were walking a lot. Like I walk. I'm right in front of the Miami, the AAA arena. I'm walking towards them. I might be shooting as far away from them as I can at this particular point, and I just want to make sure I grab the whole crowd. So I'm walking all the way through the crowd, taking these images, and until I'm in the back. And let me tell you, they were mad and angry-ish. they were kind of protesting, maybe because I'm older now, but they were protesting hard as shit, man. Like they were really screaming at the top of their lungs, and they were fast.
Look
really
at this.
Fast. Like
Look
so
at
fast that I lost them.
Right here. This image where the Holiday Inn. I know exactly where you are.
Yeah, me too.
And how many people are you experiencing in this moment? And then how safely is it for you as a photographer, as an artist, to do this kind of photography while being ensconced in such a large group of people who are, like you said, they're angry?
Well, they're angry, but not at each other. They're mad at only the police. They're not. This is the rage. This is a good thing about good activism when you have real leaders in the field. People wanted to run up on the police and start altercation, and they told them, no, leave the police alone. Go this way. Stay on topic. Stay up with the program. We're going to go to the highway now. Like whenever it seemed like the rage was going to turn into a riot, they had people in the crowd that would calm them down, pass them water, give them some hand sanitizer, even give snacks. There were a lot of people there giving food, and they were moving them on to the design of whatever the map of the protest was. So I was really impressed with that. And as far as me, I'm keeping my distance. I'm holding my breath when I'm in deep crowds. I have gloves on. I have a jean jacket. I'm fully covered, and I got 2 masks on. As far as protecting myself, but like I said, I walked through the crowd. I'm now probably almost to the back now, and just these images right here, 3 minutes have gone by. I've taken a lot, and I'm basically shooting this. If you want to talk about photography, I'm shooting this at like 1,000th of a second. It's a scorching hot day, plenty of light, and I just want everything to be tack sharp. You see this low depth of field here, and I'm moving really, really, really fast. Like I'm coming through, I'm basically gunning it and just composing it and keeping it moving and making sure I got the shot. I'm not really staying in one spot too long because yes, I am worried about catching the virus. No, I don't want to be in anyone's face for too long. And yes, the energy there is pretty scary at times, but it was organized, and they were pushing their anger the right way. And there were people of all color and sexual orientation there, and it was all love for each other. Someone fell, they picked them up. It it wasn't a mob, you know, it was a focused protest, and they moved very fast. They went up the highway, the I-95. They walked all around. And I won't lie to you, I shot them as much as I could, but they were moving so fast, they lost me because I had to take a break from all that walking and running and taking the picture, because with the mask on, it's not the same.
Rod, I have to ask you this question, which is, you know, you mentioned the crowd's moving quickly. You're shooting at 1/1000th with a low depth of field. For the people who are not the pros in our audience, and we've got some pros, we've got award winners watching us right now, and I see you, Tabitha Mudra. I want you to explain to the people who are not pros, what does that mean? What does 1/1000th of a second mean? What does the low depth of field mean? I'm going to pull it back to these photos so that you could explain why.
Well, I didn't say low, I said high. And basically it just means edge to edge sharpness, high definition. It means that the focusing point right here is the Black Lives Matter flyer, and the girl holding it who's white. But I want to show how many people are there. I want you to see how big the mob is there. So I'm shooting it at an aperture of like 5.6, so you can see how sharp it is. You see how wide it is? I look like I'm far away, but I'm really right behind her back, probably. So with
wow, how close?
I never would have thought that.
How close to this woman are you right now?
Probably less than 1 yard away.
Jeez.
So you're within 3 feet of her.
Yeah.
That is incredible. That is like, you're like literally right in it.
Yeah, and this one is shot with more of a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. This is with the with the Nikon Z7, and yeah, this looks like I'm a little far away. I shot this one. I really like this shot right here because he's right in front of the Freedom Tower, doing a freedom pose.
Yeah,
we've got they're like the twin towers right there next to each other. So I really like that shot a lot. And this is when we're taking a small break in front of AAA. This actually is right when they're thinking about running on the police right now. They're right in front of AAA. The police are right around the corner. They're screaming at them. They're yelling at them. And it's the energy is interesting because you got people there who just want to show that they're there for their Instagram. And you got people there that are furious. Like they're marching and they're crying and they're furious that they have to do this, you know?
When you say they're furious, you're surrounded by them. Is there any fear from you that this could turn
I don't
into
really
something different, safety wise for you?
I can handle myself pretty well. I'm not a scary photographer. I have no problem running right into any area to get the image. I can take care of myself very well. But as far as like the anger, like no, they're screaming at the top of their lungs. They're marching hard. Like they're not like talking. They're one. You can hear them. Someone from the back all the way to the front, and that could be like 3 football fields long. I don't know how they have the energy to do that. I can't do that. But,
they're angry.
But like, anger is not the word, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I know they're young kids. They're probably hyped up on a little alcohol or drugs or whatever. But like, yeah, it's serious.
What's interesting to me,
and I know guys that were out there every single day for like 2-3 weeks.
Rod, what's interesting to me is it seems like you have suspended as an artist the need to capture that moment meant suspending all the other stuff that normal people, they like, oh, well, I don't know if I feel safe. I don't know if that's a good area. I don't know if something's going to happen. Somebody's going to steal my bag, my camera bag. Like, you have suspended all those normal worries for your artistry. Do you find that to be a rare quality, or is that something like all your people are like that?
I don't know how other people are, really, because I'll tell you one thing and I'll find out there's something else. But I know that I went from telling people not to protest. I had a huge thread on my Facebook about it and talked about it all day, to I need to get up off my ass and get my ass down to Miami and document this correctly, because you could feel the shift in the energy. You can know, like I shot a lot of protests, maybe about 50 to 100 protests. Some of them are just people protesting and it's over frivolous things, or maybe it's just something that you know they're going to protest for a couple of days and they're going to stop. but you can tell when the energy is real, and you can tell when the energy is, I guess, for an agenda. There's no agenda here but justice, you know? So I didn't sleep that night, and I took my ass down to Miami, fully loaded up and ready to just try to take the best images I possibly could. I don't know if I did that or not, but I did my best for as long as I could. Like I said, I'm not young anymore, and those kids went all the way up and down I-95, all the way up and down Biscayne, and I was out there a couple of days, and this is what I could get. But I was impressed with the amount of love and how all of Miami was out there. And that's probably the main reason why I'm in Miami, because while this was happening in Miami, people were really getting the business in Fort Lauderdale and Broward. They were really beating them up something serious at the exact same time. But in Miami, they kept their distance and people were just expressing themselves. And we haven't had that many incidents in Miami outside of someone robbing Bayside. And if you're in Miami, you kind of know no one in Miami goes to Bayside. So that right there tells you it's a tourist that's doing that.
That is true.
But there were a few spots that got robbed the first night, but it's been mostly very low on the looting, very low on endangering local businesses, and just very serious protesting and very focused. And that has to do with mostly with Dream Defenders and a lot of my other friends that organized this, and they made sure that this was a safe environment, you know? And people were happy to do it, and some people are still doing it to this day.
Can you speak? I can see the anger in this gentleman's eyes. Do you remember this moment, Rod?
He's actually saying, leave the police alone. He's saying, leave the police alone, go this way, do not go that way. People are walking behind him towards the police. They're actually ready to come confront the police line at the Port of Miami. That's what he's doing. So he's actually an organizer who is telling people, do not start an altercation, go this way, follow the line, go this way, we're going this way, and that's what he's saying right there.
That's interesting. What you said before about the multicultural makeup of the audience the protesters, I mean, your pictures bear that out. You know, I see every color, every body shape, every, you know.
And it was interesting. People that weren't protesting, they were sanitizing people's hands if they were passing out water. And 9 times out of 10, they weren't Black and they weren't Latin. They were white. They maybe they didn't feel good to protest. Maybe they were like, I can do something else. Or people were driving by and handing out water, and towels. So there were a lot of it was a very organized and very collaborative protest, much more organized than I've ever seen actually. And it was a very hot day.
It seems like a mostly young crowd.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
It does. It's a pretty young crowd, but it was of all ages. Like, I don't even think I shot the entire protest. I know people that were out there. I had no idea where they were. I didn't even see them. Like, I'm out here. They send me pictures. Because when I first got down there, I was like, "Where is everyone? I don't see them." And I had to text people like, "We're coming down the street now." So I feel like the older crowd was in the front. They got there early and left early. And then the younger ones, they got there on Miami time.
I know that time all too well.
Yes.
Sometimes ArtServe Live runs on Miami time, but we try to do our best.
Even though we're not in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. But a couple of us live there. I wanted to ask you, we're looking at this and we see what you see through the viewfinder, right? But we don't see Rod Deal in these photos. You're in the middle of this protest. You say you're running around, the crowd's moving fast. When you left your house that day, I want to know what was in Rod Deal's photography bag of tricks. I can't leave the house unless I have this. What were your mandatories to cover an event like this from an
Well,
artist?
actually, I like I said, I brought everything. So recently, when I talked about the pandemic and like retooling yourself and focusing, what I've been doing is buying a lot of vintage manual focus lenses and declicking them. Declicking means converting them into cinema lenses for video, where you when you have an aperture. I could grab one. Hold on, give me a second if you got time. So if you grab an aperture right here, it clicks. I don't know if you can hear that or not. So when you declick it, you're making it smooth like butter. So there's no clicking, it's just going like that. So when this is all happening, I'm at the house declicking about 14 lenses. That's nice and they're great and they produce incredible images. But I brought all of those with me in the bag. And I ended up not even using them. So I'm actually kind of disappointed because my immediate idea was to shoot from far away with a 200 millimeter prime lens. So I'm definitely going to be 6 foot distancing, but I figured I would be missing shots because I have to manual focus. So I just ended up using my zoom lenses and my regular photojournalism lenses because I didn't even have time to go inside my bag. Everything was happening so fast. Now, what I originally wanted to do was shoot maybe with an 85 millimeter prime, get some depth of field, which I didn't do, and use this 55 millimeter Roker 1.2 lens, which has a huge aperture and lots of depth of field as well. I didn't get a chance to do that. That was my initial idea for these lenses. For this protest. Instead, I just lugged all those lenses around and, just tried to shoot as much as possible. I ended up meeting up with my partner, Marcus Blake. He had a bike, and then I'm on the handlebars shooting. And I don't look like I weigh that much. I weigh about 218. Marcus is 6'2" or 3. And I'm on the handlebars with my bag. He was like, man, you're like 300 pounds with that bag and your cameras.
But that's improvisation right there. I mean, you sound like somebody, like the way when you're saying you declick the lenses, that goes beyond just being a pro. Like, I mean, you're like taking it to another level. Like it's kind of like
I'm just trying to because it's really me not being rich. I'm trying to convert lenses because right now every lens is super sharp, right? So it's about character over a really sharp lens. Like for your iPhone, we could talk simply, like with your iPhone, the image is going to be really sharp. The iPhone produces 12 to 20 megapixel images on a very, very small sensor. Well, what's going to make the image interesting outside of it being really, really sharp? You have to have character, and the older lenses produce that, and they don't make it like they used to. They're made like with steel instead of plastic, with people that did the math correctly and not with just an algorithm computer program. So it's different. So you're just trying to do whatever you can to produce images differently, because right now the industry standard is just a standard, and the standard is always, in my opinion, boring. So I'm telling you, like, this is like listening to one of those bassists they play without frets. Like you're customizing your gear to make it specific to your needs. I wanted to go to Jennifer, our awesome marketing producer, and ask, have you seen any more comments coming in over Zoom or Facebook?
We have some comments from Kathleen Dean. She said, wow, technician and an artist. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Stacy said a very heavy camera bag.
Yeah.
For sure. And we've probably had an unprecedented amount of hearts and likes and those new care emojis coming in like crazy.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. I think I know Kathleen. She's a filmmaker. She's a really good
Kathleen Dean. I believe 48-hour film project.
Yeah, I know her.
We've booked Kathleen Dean for the filmmaker feature on ArtServe Live, so we cannot wait to interview her and talk all about her cinema.
A lot of my friends work with her. She's a very talented filmmaker, very talented.
Yeah, absolutely. Rod, I can't, we're already at 4:00, but I can't let you go unless we talk about Moonlight.
Okay. We can talk about that.
What was your involvement in that seminal film that was filmed here in Miami, or down in Miami, I should say. And do you have any backup photos, videos, anything from the time that you were working on that?
Well, for Moonlight, I used Jen's favorite camera, the camera phone. So I did.
How did you know?
I did location scouting for Moonlight, along with one of my oldest friends, Keisha Ray Witherspoon. She's a director as well, and a founder for the third Rising Film Festival. So we both did location scouting together and separately, along with I met the producer and I met the director at Panther Coffee. How did I get involved? Oh, okay, my man Jamil, who worked with me. He about to leave, man? All right. So I met Jamil. Called me. He was swamped with work, and he was like, "I'm gonna give you this location scouting job for Moonlight because I can't do it." And they want basically all the spots in Miami that I grew up in, Little Haiti, Little River area, and North Beach. So I basically, most of the locations in Moonlight that I picked are like spots that I grew up going to. So we went to Liberty Square, got those locations, got the diner scene, which is where the film ends, across the bridge, the apartment where he confronts his childhood friend. So a lot of the scenes in the beginning, with the first 15 minutes, all of those locations, I got composing some of the shots, shooting video on my iPhone, and just basically running around Miami and fighting crackheads in the hood to use their house. The director knew a lot of the shots that he wanted or where he wanted to start it from. But as time went by, I got everything he wanted, and he wanted something totally different. But what I do like about working on the film a lot, because mostly my involvement, I'm by myself. Basically, is trying to, and in my head, I'm saying, well, if we're going to do Miami, we're going to capture the real Miami, the one that I grew up coming to every summer, where I hung out with my cousins and whatnot. So all these spots, every restaurant in that movie that they have, those are spots I went to as a kid. Mm-hmm. I think we used one of my cousin's homes, and then everything else was just driving around for a month. And then, but I always gave notes, and I always like tried to compose shots. And then I was shocked when I saw some of those in the movie, you know. And I was like, "Oh, this guy was really listening to the notes that I gave." All right, cool. Wow. So he's a genius director, because I can say this for a fact is he listens to everyone. Like he's really observant. And I only had like 2 conversations with him. I'm not gonna act like I was there for shooting. I was not. I did the location scout, and then I got busy. But I did get to have coffee with him at Panther Coffee in Wynwood. We met. He told me what he needed, and then we had a rapport for about a month. And then the script was very simple, because it's not a wordy film. So I didn't know how intense the film was. And once I saw the movie for the first time, I was like, they used everything. I was like, I know this is gonna win every award. I think as soon as the movie came out, I think I texted my mom, my dad, and my sister, and I was like, remember I told you that movie I worked on? I was like, we about to win every fucking award, period. And quote me on that. We're at the premiere. As soon as it's over with. And they were like, that's cool, son. And most of my family hasn't even seen the movie yet. We did a premiere that I worked on. This is the other thing that I worked with them, but we did a premiere on 79th Street on a billboard. So we for the entire neighborhood, because a lot of people, I mean, it's a controversial film for the people in my area, you know, because of it being basically a gay love story. So it's controversial for them. To me, it's regular. I have a million gay friends, but a lot of them haven't seen it. Some of my cousins were like, "Oh, I watched it and I saw a guy kissing another guy." I turned it off. I was like, "What were you? Do you bothered by it? Just watch the movie, man. Like, get the whole story. You'll enjoy it." And so we did a premiere on 79th Street and Northeast 2nd Avenue, and most of my family and whatnot came out and watched it there, and they were crying at the end. So it was a very strong film, and I think it very much represents at least, yeah, I think it represents what it feels like to grow up in Miami. Because a lot of people, there's so many different cultures in Miami. A lot of people are isolated due to the cultural differences and yeah.
It's so weird because, you know, when I've been in art programs my whole life, and ever since I was a kid, and in high school, specialized art programs, art school, in college, and it wasn't until I went to like a normal school, right? Like I went to FSU after art school.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then it never occurred to me, like, no one cared that people were gay. No one cared that people had like alternative lifestyles or whatever you want to call it. People just, it was just art school. People just doing their thing. And we're just living our lives. But then you go to like a normal school. When I say normal, I mean like the prototypical American,
stereotypical American school. Yeah, I get it.
College experience that most people have. Most people do not go to art school. And then you see, whoa, turns out not everybody's cool. Not everybody wants to see like two guys kissing in moonlight. And, you know, back when Brokeback Mountain came out, I actually got texts from people I know who was like, don't go see that movie because it's about two guys. And
I'm not going to lie. I've never watched Brokeback Mountain because, yeah, that was the general energy around it. But I don't know. Maybe because I'm involved, but it's just something a lot different from Moonlight. The story is more than just that to me. I mean, it's just a very good story about a kid to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess I also matured a lot since Brokeback Mountain. I mean,
sure.
I was much younger around that time.
I think what I'm saying is if somebody allows the kiss to wipe out all the other parts of the movie, like they're going to deny themselves the cultural experience because two guys have a kiss. I think they're really missing out, and they're misunderstanding the nature of the artistry.
I'll also say this: I didn't know what the movie was about. Even though I had read the script, it was sold to me as the movie's about a kid growing up in isolation. That's what they told me. That's what I was told from the director's mouth. It's not. He didn't say I'm trying to make a film about a gay love story. It's more about the kid being isolated. Everything else was like a nice surprise, you know. So. Absolutely.
We're getting more comments and questions on Facebook, but before we go there, I want to ask you, what is Halloween Hoodie? What is that?
Okay, so the Hollywood Hoodie campaign was a campaign for after Trayvon Martin was shot and murdered by George Zimmerman. That following Halloween, we were all encouraging anyone to wear a hoodie because apparently a Black man can't wear a hoodie without being intimidating or being a criminal. So we wanted to normalize seeing someone Black in a hoodie at night so people don't get scared, because every time you watch like a cop show or whatever, you got some Black guy in a hoodie with a big ass gun. And so that's what the Hollywood Hoodie campaign is about. In the commercial, the promo I shot, it was produced by Rochelle Oliver, who is a New York Times editor, or she was, and a former writer for the Miami Herald. It was her idea. She came to me and we shot it in Wynwood at Wynwood Lofts. And most of the people involved, some of my friends, some of my colleagues, like fellow artists in Miami, and Trayvon Martin. It ends with Trayvon Martin's uncle, who's paraplegic and an activist. And it's just basically asking, are you scared of me with this hoodie on? But people with different races, of different ethnicity. And the campaign got a lot of attention. It was on CNN, got about 1 million views or 2 on YouTube. And yeah, it just raised awareness, basically. It's an awareness video just to raise awareness of, like, you shouldn't be afraid of anyone in color in a hoodie just because of what they're wearing. Everyone likes a good sweatshirt with it. I mean, I'm sure Jen likes a nice sweater when it's cold at night. Everyone does. So that's not a good enough reason to kill someone. That's not a good enough reason to attack someone because you see someone walking home in a hoodie. So
Absolutely.
that campaign was about.
What was your role on that campaign? Were you the cinematographer,
Yeah,
photographer?
I was the cinematographer and director. I mean, cinematographer and director of photography, same thing. But I shot the entire thing. Rochelle and her production partner edited it, and they marketed it, and I shot it.
Do you happen to have a copy of that campaign or
Yeah,
any
that is on the
video?
website. Okay.
Oh yeah, I want to check
Yeah,
that out.
it's I saw it on the website earlier.
Yeah, if you go on the website underneath videos, it should be like the second or third video on there. If you go back to
All
the
right.
page, I can show it to you where it is.
I'm bringing your website up right now, and
Maybe I can do it. Hold on.
we're gonna do a little screen share from Zoom. Let's see, and let me know if you guys can see this. Would that be under video work?
Yes, right there. The second video with the hoodie right there, obviously.
Right there,
Yeah,
and
there you go.
all right, let's take a look and see. I'm actually gonna stop this, and when I'm gonna do the share one more time, I'm gonna optimize for video. So make sure we get it right.
Okay.
Here we go. So let's take a look at the campaign, Hollywood Hoodie campaign by Rod Deal, shot by Rod Deal. And we should be able to play this straight up.
Yeah, all right.
I'm a black man. Are you afraid of me? Are you afraid of me now?
I'm a black man. Are you afraid of me? Are you afraid of me now?
Are you afraid of me now? I'm a black man.
Are you afraid of me? Are you afraid of me now?
I'm a black man. Are you afraid of me?
Are you afraid of me now?
Are you afraid of me? Are you afraid of me now?
Are you afraid of me? Are you afraid of me now?
I'm still a black man. Are you afraid of me now?
The Halloween Hoodie campaign forces people to answer one question. Is a black man in a hoodie really that scary? To answer this, we need people of all races, all ages, and all genders to wear a hoodie for Halloween. Take a stand against stereotypes. Support the Halloween Hoodie campaign. Wear a hoodie for Halloween.
Associate producer Rod Deal. This is incredible, and I want to say right out of this video, I want to come out and just say, anybody watching right now who feels a certain way about what they just saw, put it in the comments. I want to know what the people think about this campaign. And Rod, I want to ask you, do you feel like this campaign was educating people, or could it possibly have, like, in an act of expressing themselves, actually be creating situations where people are going out and other people are not aware of the campaign? People, whether they're in law enforcement, security.
A lot of people definitely wore their hoodies in support that year, and then we all got death threats, of course.
What?
Pissed a lot of people off. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, around that time, people were very divided about the case. George Zimmerman got bonded out with a GoFundMe, almost raised $500,000 for his defense. So we had a lot of support, and yeah, definitely, I get hate mail every once in a while.
Jeez.
So it divided a lot of people, but as a whole, once he got off, that kind of all faded off. I definitely think it helped raise awareness and have people look at it a certain way. And I know a lot of people, it got a lot of views, and basically all I can really hope for when I create something is to get as many eyes on it as possible, and to create dialogue, different opinions, and let people do with it as they will, because I'm just a creator and trying to stimulate people, that's it.
Rod, I want to thank you for your honesty and your openness. Yes, I can believe you got death threats. I'm just sorry that has happened, and that people would go to such extremes when you are just, you're an artist, you're creating, and you have a message, and it's insane that the response to that message would be a threat on your life. As a content creator who also has a political voice, do you weigh the consequences of what could come from your activism or your voice? Or do you just say, I'm going to do whatever I want to do?
Nah, man, I don't. Maybe I should. I'm pretty comfortable in uncomfortable situations. I'm fine. So I don't really think about that too much. If I'm a photojournalist first, photographer second, and I foray into video last. And as a photojournalist, I always going out of my way to make sure to do whatever I can to get the shot. So I'm not really worried about what anyone else thinks or worried about my own safety at the time. The most important thing for me at that particular moment is to get the shot. And then, of course, I want it to be seen after I get the shot, because there's plenty of things that I've shot that aren't being seen, either because it wasn't chosen for by the editor or multiple different things. But as far as am I worried about my own personal safety while I do all this? No, I try to be as safe as possible. And I'm just trying to create the best with what I have at that time.
Well, I want you to continue being safe, but I want
you to me too.
Continue, please, creating the work that I've seen today, the work that we've shown our guests. I want to say personally, it's fantastic. Anytime you want to work with ArtServe, you want to show some work, if there's a way.
Oh yeah, I love art. I've been to ArtServe many times for plenty of events. I love ArtServe. That's an incredible art space. It's huge too. Yeah, I've been there plenty of times. I love that space. So yeah, I would absolutely love to have some art in ArtServe.
We're going to make sure to send you as many invitations to our exhibitions, or if we could work with you and maybe you do a photography workshop with us or something.
Well, I'd love that too. I love to teach.
Yeah, we would love to have you, because you have such a depth of knowledge, and I think you could offer so much to our community, both in voice and technical skill. You're a wonderful artist, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hey Rod, I have a question from Tabitha, and she says these photos will be forever. How can I get a raw deal print for my collection?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Is that a possibility?
Of course, anytime. She knows how to get in contact with me. Anything she needs, just let me know. You can email me at deal@roddeal.com, DEAL@RODDEAL.
Deal@roddeal.com.
Follow me on IG at roddeal@RODDEAL. I'm very easy to get in contact with. Just type my name in and I'll pop right up, and I'll get you whatever you need.
Wow. Rod, we went over our time, and I'm so thankful that you were cool with going over the hour. And we put your Instagram and website into the chat, so everybody knows how to find you.
Awesome.
And we're going to definitely want to work with you in the future. But I just want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for this opportunity to learn about your artwork. This has been a spectacular hour with you.
I appreciate it. I had a great time. I love ArtServe and everything you guys do for the community. And I thank you for the opportunity as well.